Hey everybody, it's Rob here. Like I said in my previous video, the Sorcerer now did it. Pit 150 is done here on the live server with the Hydra Sorc using some pretty crazy ramping up mechanic. We have the mechanics, we have the planners, and all the updates now. You can kind of see here how the damage is ramping on the target dummies, so obviously going completely crazy. And when he's opening his elemental sheet, you can kind of see here how ridiculously high the damage gets. So you see here like 70,000 billion gazillion elemental damage. This is basically stacking up indefinitely, just like we had on the Spiritborn in the past, and just like we had on the Barb, on the PTR. This takes a bit. We also have some gameplay footage here. We have the planners and all the craziness. So this has to do with one of the new season power, the Smoldering Embers, in combination with the element aspect, in combination with the Enlightenment key passive on the Sorc. And this can be stacked up ridiculously high. And there's been a full blog post here about I broke a level 150. You can see all the screenshots. I'm going to link that below. So all the credits to these players here. Quick Rabbit. I'm not quite sure, like it's a translated name. But he broke 150. And here's the planner in English. And we also have the planner, the BD planner in Chinese over here. Right here. This is the Chinese planner. There we go. So this is like the build that broke it basically. And yeah, going pretty crazy here. We also have some footage, and we have a wrap up here for the exact mechanics. But I want to show you some gameplay first. This is of 120. I unfortunately don't have a recording of the 150 one, but the principle stays the same, right? Like basically you need to check the day and night cycle of your elements. And once you do this correctly and cycle this with your Enlightenment key passive, I'll explain it in a bit more detail later. Obviously this is a bug, guys, and I do not recommend anyone doing this. It's, yeah, kind of boring to have this in the game. You can kind of see here how it ramps up. And he will one-shot everything, and the damage is going completely to the moon. It's a very similar mechanic how we had on Barb with the infinite damage when Barb did 150 last season with the Crown of Lucion. This is without Crown of Lucion. Crown of Lucion is just a generic multiplier that works for this. But you can see he just places the Hydras, and they instantly hit the enemies for like a couple quadrillion damage. Basically just completely like one-shotting them here. And you see it goes up like crazier and crazier and crazier. So you'll just teleport around, like place the Hydra. You see they hit for like 300 trillion. And they will keep going up 500 trillion. They're 1.10,000 trillion. And it's just going to keep going up like this, basically. So it goes completely crazy. We also have footage here for, and then he spawns the boss and he kills the boss. We also have footage here of the full ramp up mechanic of this. It's right here. So you can kind of see how it ramps up. So this is just basically normal Hydra attacking the target dummy. And he's using the aspect of the element. You can see this is the element cycle. So this is the aspect of the elements. He has this in the offhand here, aspect of the elements, in combination with the Enlightenment key passive. And watch very closely here what happens. So this is the night cycle. And when the night cycle switches to the day cycle, if he syncs this up with his Enlightenment stacks, watch what happens to the damage here. I'll show it to you like once in full duration. You see he does normal damage, and then night cycle switches, day cycle, and boom. Infinitely overflowing damage. Negative 9 gazillion damage is an overflow of the 64-bit ledger. And yeah, the damage just goes up like ridiculously high. So you can kind of see the different cycles here. And it's not easy to do, and it's some pretty like broken and like bad mechanics. I already put a bug report out for this. But just because so many people asked me, you can see here. Like as soon as the night cycle of the elements ends, this is the night cycle, and when he switches to day cycle, he's syncing this with his Enlightenment stacks. I'll pause the video here. So you see, he's about to end the night cycle, and he goes with like 83 Enlightenment stacks. And then if you watch the next frames, 99, then the cycle begins. He switches, and you see the damage. That's the first pop-up here that comes to mind, like a negative damage. This will one-shot everything in the entire game, every Pit 150 boss, everything. And yeah, that's how they basically managed to clear this. So you can kind of see this guy is basically running the same principle and clearing 150 here in just above 5 minutes, basically. Beating the boss here, beating the pit, and yeah, just fully doing it, basically. So yeah, pretty crazy setup. And there's a couple of different ways you can do it. Like he was playing with Ball Lightning, but Ice Shards with Ale of Verglas. So it's not the Crown of Lucion, even though many people were using it in their tests because it's also a generic multiplier that works on the helm very easily. And there's also on healthheads.com, like I said, this 120 clear. This is the only video that we have seen so far. I'm pretty sure like in a few hours there's going to be multiple 150 videos popping up. But you can kind of see he does basically no damage at the start. You know, like the start ramp up is pretty slow. He'll have to do the cycle right multiple times, and every time it basically happens, the damage gets multiplied. He tried to explain this to me. Obviously, I don't even have a Sorc, and I'm not really interested in testing this. I have all the credits here in the planner, so the core issue is that each instance of the element aspect is incorrectly registered as a new damage multiplier by the Enlightenment key passive and the Smoldering Amber catalyst. So they're using this Amber here, Smoldering Amber, plus the element aspect plus the Enlightenment key passive, and then still you need to do your timing like exactly right. So it's multiplied every instance and then exponentially multiplied by every aspect of element day and night cycle again. And obviously this takes a bit to stack up square, but it's gonna go like up to infinity. Very similar to what we have happening on the Barb with the Crown of Lucion, where it was just stacking up Whirlwind, and they did 150 pit last season in the live game. We made a video about that as well. And they're basically stacking it up to 90, and then when the night cycle comes, you're stacking it to 100, and basically on the switch, you have to have the timing right. That's why it's not easy, and this guy here perfected it in quite some fashion to beat this pit 150 here. He only has screenshots, he doesn't have a video of the 150, so we have this like to go by. I'm also going to link this here. This is from another guy here over from China or Korea, and yeah, you can see like he's stacking it up. Watch this here, second. You basically have to, and the problem is you often, this is another problem that the game has, you can't even see your buff bar, right? You can't even see the proper element cycle. You see the elements, boom. And then he like needs to basically align the aspect of the element and the Enlightenment key passive. And then, and only then does the Hydra Sorc damage goes crazy if you keep doing this multiple times. So this is like a sweaty, try-hard, bugged build. And well, let me know what you think in the comments, but like I said in my previous videos, and it's also the case on Barb, when we had that infinite Crown of Lucion was disabled for like a month straight last season, and when we had that bug, obviously it's not healthy for the game, because the power of your character doesn't matter. Look at this guy is like 230 Paragon, and he just does infinite damage. Like even if you're starting at 1, if you keep multiplying it with an infinite multiplier, it's just going up to the negative damage that you see here, and everything eventually is going to be one-shot. You can see here in the next level, he has to stack it up again. So in my opinion, this should definitely not exist. Obviously, it's not intended. And I hope it's going to be hotfixed at some point. Maybe after the weekend. We'll see. But this is like when your character power and your character progression doesn't matter. I don't think anything like this should exist. We have something similar happening on the Spiritborn right now, where you have a double dipping, and people have been starting to play with the Fell Soothsayer aspect as well. Oh, he was actually dying even in this run. But yeah, he just ramps it up after, right? Like he just ramps it up again, and like even if he's dying, it doesn't really matter, because the Hydra damage just ramps up, and then he just kills everything. So we have something on a smaller scale happening with the Spiritborn, but it also doesn't look like they are fixing the Spiritborn bugs at the moment. I was kind of hoping to see the double dipping fixed, and there's a new bug that is basically introduced into the game again, where people are using the Fell Soothsayer to not only double dip, but to penta dip. Like you basically double dip the Jaguar main hall, and then you also double dip the Fell Soothsayer. Again, you might remember this aspect. It basically does % damage off the base damage, and that's always a big problem in the Marth formula, and it goes completely crazy.
Gang.
Hey, thanks for the support. But yeah, this is also completely nuts on the Sorcerer, and I was actually very surprised to see this pop up. And people have been probably doing this for a couple of days already. And yeah, that 150 has been done by the Sorcs. And this is it's pretty wild. And I think this should just be immediately hotfixed, because the Sorcerer with Hydra is a very strong build all on its own. It doesn't even need any of these bugs to be like a fun, playable and enjoyable build. And I've seen here in my community, most of you are really enjoying, like, you know, the normal Hydra Sorc playstyle. And this is just obviously not really it, in my opinion. But yeah, that's what I think. I'll still link you these planners and all the clears below, just because so many people are interested. It always feels like nice if there's a new build to test. But I just encourage you to play, like, you know, the normal versions, and that's more fun. I'm probably going to make a Sorc here soon as well. I couldn't really test any of this because I was mainly blasting Spiritborn. But this Sorc is definitely ramping up pretty crazy. And if we're looking at this here again, Night Cycle, Enlightenment is also like very try hard to like get this to work properly. And obviously the damage is pretty ridiculous when it's scaled up and when you see it like this on the target dummies here. And you can see the full gear here. So there's a Verglass, there's Shroud of False Death, Fist of Fate, Axial Conduit. Then there is the Flicker Step, and then this damage is obviously going crazy. Then Serpentine Aspect, Element Aspect, Harasha, the Starless Skies, and then the Hydra Amulet. And this is just, you know, pretty crazy elemental damage. We'll see, man. I'm really hoping these bugs can be ironed out like for the next expansion. I was already hoping for this in the Vessel of Hatred expansion, but now even more so. Like if the new class is gonna be like, you know, the holy kind of paladin stuff, I hope there's gonna be some good testing. I was even hoping to see like a public test server of some sorts where you can have a lot of people test the new class, so it doesn't like really like release like the Spiritborn did. That would be like best in slot, I feel, to iron out a lot of this stuff. And the expansion is coming next year. We'll see what's gonna happen, but like this has you definitely a bit worried about having leaderboards in Diablo, you know, in Diablo 4, which is also supposed to be coming next year, when there's still this many problems in the game. And I feel in general, guys, this season we had like many bugs. We had like these affixes dropping, legendaries dropping with only 3 affixes. We had the Nightmare Dungeon keys not dropping. I think we have many more double dipping bugs on server classes. And I'm just hoping to see some more bug fixes. But like, it's actually pretty crazy with the layoffs at Microsoft and that they're reducing the staff even more. I'm not feeling like the most confident that these bugs are all going to be ironed out for or in the next expansion. I'm still hoping for the best. I'm still looking forward to play the new class. I still enjoy the game a lot, you know. But I don't think like many of these like completely broken mechanics really make it that enjoyable. And I don't think they should exist. I know some people always say, yeah, but like let us you know, have fun with this infinite damage. Like, yeah, I want strong and S tier and fun builds as well. But infinite damage where where your character like doesn't matter anymore, that's where the core principle of the game, like, you know, progressing your character, having a power fantasy by investing time and effort and basically improving your character, that gets completely invalidated by these infinite damage bugs that we seem to have every season. And I just hope, you know, for the best, for the future, for the game. But yeah, stuff is going to be below. By big credits to those blasters in China and Korea. Hope you enjoyed, my friends, and I'll see you soon. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.